Hello everybody, this is Ethraiel from TurkerHub. This is going to be the last video for the RNR script tutorials, and I thought we would do something special. And you can already see that I've done a little something here that I haven't talked about with you guys yet, and my radio buttons are toggling when I click the image. So trying to write this out, and you'll see here the script that did that, uh, while I was talking about it was rather difficult to get in under 10 minutes. So I thought I would just include it here and then talk about it piece by piece and see if that worked a little better. So here we go. We want to first talk about what the general idea here is. So we know that when we click on the image, we want our radio buttons to toggle. And you can imagine that that this is all related somehow, that there's probably a big box that contains the image and the radio buttons, and you would be correct. So, oh, if I don't scroll so fast, maybe you guys can keep up with me a bit here. So you can see the whole big box is highlighted, and when we click down into the, I like it, think of it as like a file folder system here, we can see the children of that box, and then these two would be siblings, right, of the their parent, which would be the big box here. And you can see they all have classes. And if we go down here to this one, we can see that the classes are the same. So we will have a structure here that is class document box with two children, image box, and label box. Okay, so we're going to traverse that in our script here. We're going to say every time we click on a thing with a class of image box, we're going to do a function and pass some data there. And the only reason we need to pass some data is to tell the script to prevent the default action of the click. So if we go ahead and just ignore that prevent default and we didn't put that in, we can see here that we get kind of an annoying, we open that up and switch the radio button. So that's what prevent default does. I mentioned on the TurkerHub page that I should have also included it in the line where the press enter also presses the submit button, and you'll see that I've went ahead and done that there. So that just makes sure that you're not also sending an enter key while you're clicking submit. So enter will be non-existent on that page. It will just function as a submit click hotkey. So back to what we were talking about here. So we're preventing the picture from popping up when we click it, and then we're creating a variable. I like to call it this or some kind of form of this. It makes reading things a bit easier. Back to yourself. So this is equal to this. So what this means, and this is going to be hard to explain. Actually, we can log it. Handy dandy console log. So this is just the element that's going to be clicked on, and I guess I don't need to really explain it any more than that, but I'll go ahead and put it in a console log so we can see the what gets returned. Okay, so when we click it, we're going to prevent the default, send a console log, and then I'll get to that later. Okay, so let's refresh and see what pops up in the console for this. And you'll notice that it's the whole image box div, and that contains a whole bunch of data. But if I click this one, now this, if it loads, now this is not the other box, but this box. So it's always the thing that you're clicking on or interacting with. It doesn't always have to be a click. So that's what this is. Maybe I'll leave that there. So this siblings, so we know that the pictures has a sibling that has a label box, which will contain all of this stuff. And then its children, because label box itself, if we go back over to the elements, labels box itself contains inputs, it contains labels, breaks, all kinds of children elements. So its children with input, children that are inputs, I guess would be the best way to say that. So we don't want to return the labels, we don't want to return the breaks and everything. We just want, maybe if I scroll up here, we can see the highlight. We just want the input radio buttons to return. So that's what we're going to be putting in the variable of this. And just to show you what exactly we're putting into this, let's put that in the console log and show you on the highlight. The highlight thing is actually really handy for tree traversal, especially when you're doing all kinds of things with your console and everything. So I just clicked the picture and I have the this variable returning, and you can see that I've returned all 3 radio buttons, which is kind of nice. Now when we have an object like that, we know that we can use our EQ function. So this is equal to all 3 of those radio buttons. So we go with our conditional, we would say if the first radio button has a property of checked and that property is true, we're going to go ahead and click the second input button from this. And then if that is not true, so the first button is not checked, then we'll go ahead and check it. So we start out with the first button checked, so that conditional will be true. So when we click it, we know that we need to click the second radio button, and then if the top radio button is not clicked, we'll want to go back to that. So image didn't load. I figured it's not too hard and it doesn't happen too often, that coming over here and clicking the radio button for those is not too bad, and it saves us an extra conditional and else if, and you have to write that. But if you just click on this, it'll take it back to related, which is kind of neat and just kind of functions because of the logic of the code. So we'll go through it one more time. So every time we click on an element that has a class of image box, we're going to prevent the default action of the click. We're going to create a variable called this that contains all 3 of the input buttons associated with that picture. And then if the first one of those radio buttons has a property checked that is true, we're going to click the second radio button. Otherwise, if the checked property is false, we're going to click it and make it true. So there are a lot of different ways to do this. Caduce's script does not do it like this. He does a lot of other tree traversal techniques, and he uses .change, which I think is really cool, and I looked into that, but me trying to explain something I don't know very well is difficult. So I think that's it. Hopefully you guys don't mind that I didn't type it out. Probably better that you didn't have to watch me type. So with that out of the way, you might want to change the query image related to unrelated. I've noticed most of the 8-cent ones I've done are unrelated dominant, and make sure you put the prevent default in your key up functions. But other than that, we have a viable script that you can use to do these hits. And hopefully you guys have taken the initiative and started learning things on your own. But I'm going to stop talking now. Hope you guys are doing great turkey. Have a good night, everybody.